I'm here with Tom Madden at the Linden Airport. He currently rents a hangar here and has been at this airport for how many years, Tom?
30 years.
30 years, that's a long time. I understand that you, as well as many other pilots, have had some issues with how the airport has been maintained and cared for. I understand that you went to Mayor Armstead not long ago. Can you tell me a little about that conversation?
Yeah, I went to Mayor Armstead because they were refusing grants. And I thought that was ridiculous. Some of the grants we've been accepting were not important, in my opinion. You know?
And why do you think they weren't accepting the grants?
They didn't have the matching funds. They have to have 5% of the matching funds.
That's what the mayor said, or?
Well, I have that from a FOIA documents that I FOIA'd that information, and there's letters that said we didn't have the matching funds. We're not going to take this grant.
Did you ever speak to the mayor about Councilman Strano and your feelings as the chairman of the airport board, how he was doing, taking care, or overseeing anything?
Right. Yeah, I've talked to Councilman Strano, and he told me that he didn't have a letter from Paul, and I'm saying, how could you not have that letter from Paul? He sent it out to all the tenants for an increase for his hangar space, and he wasn't aware of that. So I was kind of wondering, why isn't he aware of that? And why would he have an increase for since he rented, he had an airplane here.
All right, so do you think there was another reason he wasn't so concerned about an increase having a plane here?
Yeah, because he was getting the hangar space for free. I mean, it was just, let's just come out and say it.
When do you believe that, when did he buy the plane and have it here at the airport? I don't know if it was shipped here.
It was approximately 2012.
2012. So it's approximately 7 years ago?
Yes.
Okay, I spoke to the city, and they said that Mr. Strano has had his plane tied down outside for quite a while now. They admitted it was a year. Privy to that year, was it stored inside to your knowledge?
Yeah, it was in hangar 605 for a very long time, and then it was in hangar 406 for a length of time until probably October of 2018.
And not that you said that you know for sure, but why do you feel that he wasn't paying, rent in that hangar, in any of those facilities?
Well, it would be unusual to have a Cessna 172 in a $5,000 a month hangar. The plane isn't worth that much,
Not using any names, did anyone ever infer to you that he wasn't paying?
Yes.
Okay, and this person would be in the know?
Yeah.
They would have knowledge?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, he wasn't always in a $5,000 a month hangar. He had gone to a smaller hangar at some point?
Yes.
And from what, asking around the airport, the average for that hangar without use of offices is about $880 a month?
That's correct, yes.
With utilities, people are telling me it's closer to $9.
Yeah, you have to pay your own utility.
That's fine, that's fine. So, and you believe again that your source was correct, that he hadn't been paying for that hangar space?
Right, well, the way it was put to me is we like to give people from the town a break, and he's just giving them a break. And I thought that was fine, but, later on, I come to believe that that's not fine.
Can you say who told you that?
Yeah, Patrick.
Patrick? Okay.
The,
Don't use the last name.
yeah.
I've been told by one of the pilots that you had given me a list to reach out to, that he never saw Mr. Strano pay for fuel. Do you have any knowledge that would be possible or unlikely, or I'm not quite sure how the fueling works here?
About that.
Do people pay cash for fuel here? Regular, like leasees like yourself?
I never buy fuel here.
Okay.
If I do, I use my credit card.
Would it be crazy for him to say that he paid cash for the fuel?
Yes.
It would be crazy.
I think so.
Okay. So you believe that he would pay with a credit card like the other person, or the other people would pay?
It should be.
Yeah. Most of the people I talked to told me they paid by credit.
Yeah.
So let's move on to when you complained to the mayor about feeling Mr. Strano was not exercising his authority over Paul Dudley. The name of Mr. Dudley's company is?
Linden Air Service, I believe.
Linden Air Services? This is the same Paul Dudley that crashed into the Hudson?
Yes.
The side note, not that you are an FAA inspector, do you know what that ended up? Did he keep his commercial license to your knowledge after that accident?
He did not.
He did not. And why do you believe, and again, you didn't look at it, why do you believe, or what did you hear, why the helicopter went down?
It was overweight.
Overweight? Okay. What did the mayor tell you when you expressed to him your concerns about Mr. Strano managing Mr. Dudley? Did he talk about jail?
Yeah, basically he was concerned that this would put him in jail, and he didn't want to see that, so he was going to handle it another way.
So did he encourage you to come in and see him, or just that he would take care of it?
He would take care of it.
Shortly thereafter, as we had spoke earlier, the mayor apparently had called somebody that attempted to get you in some trouble, that you had made a complaint, correct?
Exactly.
Okay, so that was your first sign that probably the mayor wasn't
On my side.
on your side. Do you believe, now this has been what, 2 years, 3 years since you made the first complaint?
3.5 years.
3.5 years. How did you finally get some movement here? I understand from someone in the city, and I believe yourself, that you literally yourself had to go to the FAA.
I filed an FAR 13.1.
And that said?
That said they weren't in compliance with the grant money assurances that.
And the FAA did come out here to this airport, correct?
They did a site inspection.
Has anyone been from the city, I understand you have a copy yourself, was anyone from the city plain and transparent on an action plan or the things they found when they came out?
Yeah, well, they came back with their return. They wanted a corrective action plan, and the city just ignored them. I mean, they were just...
Right, so the city has not shown you any documents on their plan?
Well, recently, no, they didn't show me anything.
Okay, so that's what I said. So the city has still not reached out and said, look, we now recognize your complaint, and here's what we're doing.
Right.
So, do you believe this airport is secure?
No.
Have you ever heard this airport referred to as part of the most dangerous 10 miles in the United States?
No.
Have you heard it from me?
Yeah. Oh, yes, I've heard you say that.
Okay.
Yes.
So as a pilot and as someone that knows this airport better than anybody else, how likely would it be with the security as it sits today that somebody could come take a plane here and crash it into whatever they want? Well, if they picked one of the planes that aren't broken.
Yeah, exactly. That's definitely a possibility.
So, do you believe having unsecured doors and fences as an aviation professional, do you think that you've ever seen that as like the commonality you see here?
I've never seen it anywhere else. I mean, it's basically, it's here.
We toured the runway today, and the footage will follow, of tiny rocks, pieces of asphalt, pieces of rubber, on the taxiways, on the tie-down areas. As again, aviation professional, what hazard does that place for people that have planes here?
Well, the propeller is going to be picking that stuff up as they throttle up.
Could it cause a plane crash?
Yes, if you damage a propeller blade and you're not aware of it, you take off, you can lose a tip.
I spoke to a person that works with the product they're putting down. One of the suggestions he had said to me was they should have a street sweeper coming through behind them to clean up that debris. Would you have seen something like that in an airport that was concerned for the safety of the planes?
Yes.
The cracks, do you think they're significant?
Very significant.
Do you believe in your opinion, and you're not a asphalt expert,
I'm not an asphalt expert.
in the research you've done, do you believe the product they're using and how they're installing it will fix the problem?
No, it will not. This is the same process they used back in 2007. I believe it was 2007, where we had $750,000 to put that stuff down, and the cracks are just too wide and deep. So what happens is the material falls in to the crack. And
You and other persons back here told me they saw them weed whacking the grass that grew through there. Did you see them irrigating the channels out, pulling those grass roots out and, you know, digging out?
no, that's another thing. They're pouring this over the top of the grass.
Right. Spoke to another individual with you that was obviously not on camera earlier today that said that he believes the airport has accelerated its deterioration. He said it's been deteriorating for many years, but it accelerated in the last 3 to 4 years.
Yes.
Would you say that's accurate?
That's accurate.
He said to myself and Councilman Roman that the grass was all the way up to his waist at one point last year. Is that true?
That's correct.
I myself, and again, we'll show the footage on the site, saw overgrown grass along the taxiway lights. Is that a hazard?
Yeah, you're supposed to maintain it below the light at all times.
Right. That person also spoke of the fact that being able to turn on the landing lights had malfunctioned. Have you heard that from anyone else before?
Oh yeah, we have a lot of problems with lights. The beacon's not working right now. The airport beacon isn't out there.
And what is that important for?
First of all, it tells you this is an airport, you know, and secondly, it makes the airport easy to find at night.
Do you think that's important?
Yeah, yeah, that's important.
Do you believe that gentleman, he explained to us the situation that he was lucky it was a bright moon that night. Was he exaggerating the hazard he was under when he landed?
No, not at all. I mean, it's, you know, we fly, when we fly, we usually have enough of a fuel reserve sometime for an hour or more flight. If you can't land here, you got to land somewhere. And so you can divert to another airport. Now you're going to have next to nothing in fuel, you know?
To go back to the oversight from the city, Councilman Strano at this time is not the chairman any longer of the airport, but he is on the airport committee. Can you think of any possible reason why they removed him from the chairmanship, you know, on and about the time they had removed him?
Well, that was the fix. I mean, the mayor told me that he was compromised and he was going to be, you know, removed. He was removed from the council presidency, but I guess they kept him on the committee, which was kind of a surprise to me.
Without mentioning any agencies, are you aware of any agencies that are actually investigating let's just call it the serious degradation of this airport?
Well, the FAA is.
Did anyone from the city volunteer the information? Well, that's a bad question. Do you feel comfortable after finding out that the city's appointee, which you found out from myself, is under a criminal investigation by the state for using his office for gain?
I was surprised.
All right. Were you surprised that he was appointed within weeks of claiming he was going to kill himself if the investigators didn't come out and show them the evidence?
That also surprised me.
Would you have made that choice as an aviation professional?
No.
No, me neither. Have you ever seen Mr. Brown here touring the airport, looking at how it is being maintained, come out and saw the pilot, send an email, anything to reach out to you guys, being aware of the serious problems here that the FAA has pointed out? Have you heard from Mr. Brown or anybody from the city with like, hey guys, we're working on this, you pay us serious money every year, I mean anything, that a boy, thanks, we're working on it? Have you heard anything?
No, never from Mr.
Do
Brown.
you believe they've been trying to push you out of the airport because you're a problem for them?
Absolutely.
What would you like to see happen with this airport?
I would like to see this run like a real airport. I'd like to see it put back in compliance, get rid of the deer so we could fly at night, fix the gates so we have security, so we're not losing radios out of our planes, and we know who's in here.
Oh, there's been
walking around.
thefts inside the airport since the gates
yeah.
have been working? What do you think the value of those thefts were?
Little $70,000
And this was radios out of planes?
out of Mooney, yeah.
So let me swing back to my other question then. If thieves were able to get into here and steal radios, could they have stolen a plane? If they had experience?
I suppose, yeah. Well, of course.
Okay, so what we probably know then is that people have come through the lack of security and were able to commit a criminal act of stealing radios. Is it a fast thing to pull them out, or does it take a little bit?
It's very easy.
Okay.
Just an allocation.
So, but somebody having access to steal a radio could have access to take the plane.
Yes.
But they'd have to have the key, right? They have to have a key to turn the plane on?
In some cases, no. All you have
Okay.
to do is open the door.
Oh, I see. So basically, it's not like even like a car where they would have to try to hotwire the car.
Some of them have keys and some of them don't.
Right, and as
Turn the bags
a
on.
person familiar with airport mechanics, or plane mechanics, are those key systems in plane as sophisticated as cars where?
Not at all.
Not at all. So if you, I'm going to use an old term, if you could hotwire a 67 Chevy, you can hotwire a plane? Yeah. So go continue with what you'd like to see. You had brought up earlier that you would like to see some type of synergy between pilots and an aviation board from the city that would kind of share responsibility and be each other's,
Right.
keep me honest.
Exactly. I'd like to see that.
Do you believe that Paul Dudley could maintain in his position even under that type of system?
No. Right now he's wearing two hats. He's wearing the FBO hat, which we have no FBO here, and he's wearing the manager's hat, which we essentially, it's a no-show job. You know, he's an oligarch, no-shows job, slumlord.
My understanding, and again, I can't get a copy of all the aspects of his contract because the city, says it's security. I know someone has sent it to me and I reached over. My understanding is, and see if it is yours, that he pays the city, well, coming soon, $35,000 a month. And basically his task is to maintain and care for the airport, and whatever's left, he gets to keep.
Right.
Okay, so would you believe that a contract like that would almost encourage him, and I believe it has, to spend the least amount of money on caring for this airport?
Absolutely.
Would you be surprised if I told you that the city of Linden plans on trying to close this airport to plane traffic in 14 years to build mixed retail and residential?
What proof do you have of that?
I have it on the record from an individual I can't mention because they're cooperating with law enforcement. But would you be surprised? Seeing how they're maintaining this airport,
Well,
would
no,
it
we
surprise you?
kind of suspected that, because we have dummy airplanes holding tie-down spaces. There used to be 280 fixed-wing aircraft here. We're down to like 40 or something like that.
And did that happen over the last 3 to 4 years or over a longer time?
I would say 3 or 4 years, yeah.
Listening to people who we spoke to today, I heard consistency over and over again that I would like to stay here, I would like to pilot out of here. It's a great location. The best one I heard is that it's a great location for a doctor, that they live somewhere else that can fly in and go to the city, and I actually agree with that. Or I guess any type of professional. But would it surprise you that that was the whole point, to drive people out, so when they want to close the airport, there'll be very little, let me rephrase it, they're not closing the airport, they're turning it into a high-end executive heliport.
Yeah, that's what that doesn't surprise me at all.
Why would Mr. Dudley want helicopters over planes?
That's 90% of his business right now.
But why would he? What is the upside for Mr. Dudley?
The upside is they don't need a runway.
And?
They don't need, it's turnkey.
They use more fuel?
They burn fuel, exactly, they're burning jet fuel.
So they burn a lot of fuel.
And they have to buy his fuel, because it doesn't pay for them because they're slow. There's some people say they flight plan with a calendar, so they can't go to other airplanes and tanker fuel back like we can.
Right.
You know, I can go to Central Jersey, fill up, and then I only spend 4 gallons. They're going to spend a lot of time and a lot of fuel doing that. So they're stuck here paying these fuel prices.
And it's late, we've been here all day, and I'm sure you have to go, I also. You had told me a story on why this airport saved you. Can you retell our viewers a brief summarization on how it saved you?
Well, I wouldn't say it saved me, but it certainly helped me in my career field. I work at Newark International Airport. I've worked there for 33 years, and I've done well there. And I contribute that to this airport, having this resource, meeting people of like minds that train me to fly, train me in avionics, and also airframe power plant, which it means a lot. It means a lot, and it's payback.
You had told me a story about your guidance counselor.
Yeah.
And what she had advised you, but the airport gave you a different path. What was that?
She said go into the military, which isn't bad. I mean, my uncles were in the Air Force, and that's where I was going to go. But the Air Force, you come out of the Air Force, you don't have an airframe power plant license. You have to get an airframe power plant license if you want to work for the airlines.
So basically, this airport put you on a pathway to your career,
Yes.
to your family. Do you think it's helped others? Do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, pilots are made here. I'm a CFII, and I got my MEI. I did that all here. You can't do it anywhere else. I mean, I couldn't have done it anywhere. I couldn't take the time to fly to Florida and spend 6 months down in Florida or 12 months and do all that. I had to do it here.
Do you have an optimistic belief that this airport will turn around, or do you believe that at this point it's just going to continue to skid down the hill?
Well, if they get their way, it will.
I want to thank you for alerting me to this. I have to say I find the theft of the radios even more concerning now than I originally was concerned about how close this facility is. You're a pilot. From leaving the runway to that chemical refinery, how much time would you estimate that would be?
Minutes.
Minutes?
Yeah.
Not enough to scramble F-22s to intercept it? Thank you for your time, and I hope people will see this. I hope people will call the governor and ask the governor to launch an investigation into this airport, because the repairs being overseen by the same people that ran the airport down seems crazy, and the fact that it's the airport employees that are putting stuff down, they're not trained in asphalt repair.
No.
The young man that drove up, let's not mention his name, we hired another guy to help put it down, that it says on that paper should be installed by professionals.
Yes.
You know at least one of these guys that is putting it down. Would you believe he has expertise in asphalt repair?
No, not at all. They're just people that hang out at the airport and, they whole game of job.
Well, Mr. Madden, I hope this helps you. I hope it helps the people, and I hope that, we can get the right attention here at the very least to secure the gates and get the runway not a hazard to people, because everybody wants to help after there's a tragedy.
Right.
And I think that's what yourself, myself, and Councilman Roman are trying to avoid. Let's not have the tragedy where we all have to say, oops, we should have done something.
Yeah, the whole idea is in aviation is to mitigate the risk. So we're not even doing that. We're having close calls, and when you're having a lot of close calls, that's time to wake up. There's something wrong.
Right. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you.